Hello, guys, and welcome to Comic Book Weekly. We are here. We are -1, which is Mike. Usually Mike and Brant and vice versa. Mike and me kind of hold the fort, but this time we're holding the fort for Mike. So me and Brant are here. We have some really cool topics to talk about. Not as much news because New York Comic Con's this week, so we're going to get a lot more news there. And we are going to talk about Age of Revelations, though. That does start this week. It's crazy because there's so many books coming out tomorrow. And usually for New York Comic Con, I won't review my books because I'm like, oh, I'm setting up for New York Comic Con. I'm literally going to the city tomorrow to set up my table. So I'm like, I'll skip a week, but DC K.O. comes out, the Revelation starts.
Can't skip those.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because we've been pumping up DC K.O. so much. So I'm going to try squeezing in reading my books tomorrow while setting up for New York Comic Con. But yeah, we're gonna jump into some news and then we'll go to the X-Men stuff because we also thought why not talk about some Marvel things because we've been talking about DC so much. So first we have Afterlife with Archie is coming to Disney Plus from the Riverdale team.
Yeah,
I feel like Riverdale was already kind of Afterlife with Archie feels. So
yeah, that is weird, right? But I guess they're gonna lean fully into the zombie, aspect of it. But it was Riverdale was. Did you watch the whole thing? I actually watched
not the whole thing. I probably watched half of it.
Like years later, like I caught up and then I like binged it. But it went all over the place. It started off as a horror thing, and then at some point it went into so many different genres. They went back in time. They were in the 50s at one point. It was just craziness. That show was just bizarre. But
and I think that's what people liked about it, I think, was that it was weird and soap opera-ish. It wasn't my type of soap opera, but I can respect sometimes you want stupid TV, kind of. You want something that's just weird.
Once it got past, like, the motorcycle gang thing that Jughead was part of, it got better for me, and I enjoyed I struggled to get through that season. But once I got past
stopped was that season.
That's when I stopped too, and then years later, I was looking for something to watch, and it was like, "Okay, this is on Netflix. I'll try it again." Slog through that season. It's like Buffy season 4 for me. It was the same kind of thing. It's like, I got to get through this one to get to better stuff.
But you also really like Archie, so like I think there's like a fandom behind it too, where you're like, well, as an Archie fan,
exactly. Yeah, I owed it to myself to finish it. But Afterlife with Archie, as a comic, it was fantastic. As a show, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it
on Disney Plus. It's weird.
But
I mean, they have some of the horror stuff from Marvel, so
right. And Hulu's about to be phased into Disney Plus. Like Hulu's going away, so it already has all the Hulu stuff over there too. So it's not that strange to be over there.
I better be getting my weekly Abbott Elementary episodes if it's going into Disney Plus. I don't want to wait a whole season.
I think Abbott Elementary is actually already on there too. So cool. I watched that. I'm behind on it, but I do watch that show as well. So
I haven't watched this season yet because it just started, but I watched all of last season, and it's a fun show to watch while I call it a lunch show. A fun show to watch while you're eating lunch.
That's a good description of it. Yeah. But no, I'm kind of excited about it. I'm curious to see what they do with it. Obviously the person behind Riverdale was the person behind Afterlife with Archie too. So
and also, well, I was thinking, I don't know if Berlanti's behind this. I was gonna say Berlanti is also behind DC stuff. So I don't know actually if Berlanti's behind it. Let's see.
I'm not sure, but what's his name? Aguirre.
Roberto. Yeah. Who did he has a long name I always forget. Yeah, he is definitely behind it, looks like. But I don't see any. Yeah. Oh no, Berlanti's part of it too. So yeah, you have the same creative team back for the show.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious about it. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll reserve judgment until we see like a trailer or something. But yeah.
Next up is Jason Aaron brings Thundar the Barbarian to comics for the first time ever. I was like, I don't know who that is, but I'm sure Brandon might do. So
yeah. I actually had the toys of this cartoon. I grew up on this. This was one of the Saturday morning things with Herculoids and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely am familiar with Thundar the Barbarian. I still have some of the toys. Actually, one of them has a broken leg. But I still have it. So yeah,
it has a lot of resale value, I'm sure, with the broken leg.
It wasn't from what I remember, it wasn't like one of the most popular, shows back in the time. So
It
it's
sounds like probably a passion project for Jason Aaron if it's
yeah,
because I think Jason Aaron's probably selling it more than Thunder is.
yeah, I'm definitely sure of that. So it was kind of like a cross between like a He-Man and like a Dungeons and Dragons. So and it was kind
Okay.
of that vibe. It was evil sorcerers and that kind of thing. And Thundar the Barbarian was like this. He had a mystical sword too, so it was very He-Man like, probably trying to capitalize on the popularity of He-Man kind of thing. Um, so yeah, I'm curious about it. I'm not excited about it, but we've seen a lot of revival properties, and a lot of them have been really good. And Jason Aaron's a really good writer, so I'll definitely check out the first issue.
So believe it or not, we're already up to the last news piece because yet again, New York Comic Con is this week, so they're not really announcing that much besides
Right,
a new logo from like Oni Press, which there wasn't as much to say about that. But
right,
we have this was a bigger one. Superman and Spider-Man will be reuniting. They're going to reprint the old one, but they're also going to do more one-shots, which double-edged sword, right? Because the first one I thought was fun, like I had a good time, but the anthologies are hard, right? They're hard
yeah,
to get into because you could really like one story, like we really like the Wonder Woman and Captain America story, and
right,
then you could think another one's just okay, like Batman, Deadpool, or you might really hate a lot of stories. So it's like very much a grab bag in that way. So
yeah,
you're having all these amazing characters come together, and now you're doing it a second time. You're like, well, why didn't you just use the real estate for 4 issues then, right? If
right,
because then you could get a full story and you could get a little bit more out of it. But obviously, I love Spider-Man, and I think it's cool to see him with Superman. Like I'm still gonna get it, right? I'm still gonna buy it.
yeah,
I just don't know if this could do as well as obviously the first one because I think people expected something from that first one. They're like, oh, okay, short stories, fine. I'm glad I got this first one, but once you get to the fourth one, I'm not really sure.
yeah. No, I completely agree with you. It's and obviously they're doing two. They're probably doing one the same
Mm.
thing they did with Batman, Deadpool, one from Marvel, one from DC. Um, it's kind of a no-brainer with these two characters, the two biggest, characters aside from Batman in comics. Um, but yeah, it's such a hard sell with these. I'm hoping that the lead story has a really good creative team and it's, at least, fun for both camps, that kind of thing. But yeah,
I
I
think it's just
hate
gonna be Dan Slott probably because he's writing Superman. He wrote Spider Man, so I have a feeling
yeah,
it's probably going to be him.
that does make sense. I wish they wouldn't do anthologies, honestly. I wish it would just be one story, and I think it would be better, served that way. But everybody's going to want to be part of this, and I think that's probably part of it. Like,
Or do a 3 issue mini and then do
yeah,
one
exactly, like you said,
anthology.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you could do both. Like you could have the cake and eat it too.
yeah,
Just I don't want like that. All of them are anthologies, so you really only
right,
have one style.
yeah. No, I completely agree with you. Yeah, I would rather them just like spend the time to do like a JLA Avengers kind of thing where they
Mm.
just do this massive crossover, and I don't know. Again, I'd go back to that Captain America, Wonder Woman thing. I would love to just see a whole crossover of that story, that universe. So, but that's me. And Superman and Spider Man on a title are going to sell books, so that's what they're interested in,
You're definitely
of course.
interested in the money for this one.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's all the news, believe it or not. So we are
yeah,
going to go into our main topic, which is Age of Revelation. So we're going to go title by title and discuss what are we getting and what we not, and what we think about the overall event as a whole.
yeah,
For me, I do feel like it's one of those things where what I really hate about events in general are these type of events where it doesn't feel like it's it's coming from anywhere. It just feels like, oh, I
mm,
guess we should do an event because maybe sales are down. But then you interrupt all these other stories. And again, I know not a lot of people are fans of the current X-Men titles, but there has to be fans out there because they're buying
yeah,
them. And like, I love Exceptional X-Men. That's the X-Men book I really enjoy. So it's like, I want to read more of that. And I don't really, really want to read this. So it's just, I don't know if anyone wins. We will talk about the titles and, there's some interesting ones here and there, but I feel, not positive about the event going into it.
yeah. I'm kind of middle ground on this now. Obviously, I read Overture and I thought it was pretty decent, and I can kind of I compared it to Age of Apocalypse back in the day.
Mhm.
I think this is the modern day version of that story, right? Um, so I can understand the appeal of it. At the same time, like you said, it kind of came out of nowhere, even though it's building on some things that happened like during the Krakoan age and that era of apocalypse story and stuff. But I don't feel like there was a lot of attention on that, and so just kind of bringing it back out of nowhere, just as a catalyst to pop us into this event, does seem kind of just out of left field. So it didn't have the hype going into it that I think it probably should have. Um, but I I kind of like stories like this that kind of give us an alternate future, an alternate reality kind of thing sometimes, especially with the X characters because it just seems so in pocket for them. At the same time, again, we've seen something like this before, so I'm kind of in the middle on it, and yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not as excited about this as I was for say like a Age of Apocalypse or something
Mhm.
like that. So that's
And
kind of where
we'll
I'm at.
obviously talk about the other X-Men title a little bit
Sure.
more, but yeah, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
That's the best way to
Right.
put it. Is it was
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was trying to remember. It's like, did that come out this week?
Hmm.
What happened in it again? And it's like it was very forgettable to me.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's start with some titles here. So first up on the list is Amazing X-Men, and I don't know if you want to pull up like the image while we talk about the book, but Amazing X-Men is pretty much your X-Men book that you were reading before. It's the
Yeah.
same artist, it's the same writer. You have Cyclops, you have, let me see what else you have in here. Cyclops is the only one I actually recognize. So you got Cyclops. I am not reading the X-Men book, so this is not one that I am going to pick up. I'm genuinely not even reading the title, so I don't know if I need this version of these characters. If the regular versions of these characters are not really doing it for me.
Gotcha. So that is it showing on the screen? Because
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Mm.
Glob is on the bottom right there.
Mm.
And Beast, that's
Oh,
actually
that's
Beast on
Beast.
the left. Yeah, that's Beast. He changed in Overture. He became white
Even
for some
Blob,
reason.
I was like, I didn't even write. He looks kind of skinnier.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the winged character is, and they named the middle character in the Overture book, but I can't remember what his name was. It was
Mm.
somebody that I didn't recognize, so I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, it's interesting that like most of the core X-Men team were the same, like Magneto's still on the team and all that stuff. It's just certain people changed allegiances, as we saw in Overture, like Wolverine's on the side of Revelation now, and Psylocke is over there as well, I think. And so I think that middle character is some kind of villain, and
Hmm.
so now he's on the X-Men, and the X-Men aren't supposed to be the X-Men. They're not even allowed to say the word X-Men in this universe or whatever. So it's weird. I don't know, but it is the same creative team as Jed McKay writing Amazing X-Men, so it is basically just the same title, just
Yeah.
in the future.
The next one's Binary. This is your Phoenix book. It's Carol
Yeah,
Danvers channeling the power of the Phoenix. Um, I don't know. This one I'm torn on because again, I'm not reading Phoenix currently, but I'll say at least the premise for this one sounds interesting.
yeah,
And I'll also say that I like Stephanie Phillips a lot.
right,
She has really been doing well for me for Spider Gwen, and she's always really decent. I never really am disappointed with her writing, so this one's definitely a maybe for me. I think this one I'm more convinced about getting. Does this one come out tomorrow?
I think it does.
I don't know if I originally put on my pull list, so I might have to add it. But and then there's also so many books coming out tomorrow, so I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's probably why I didn't have put it in the first place because I was like, there's so many books coming out. You kind of have to pick and choose. But now I'm like, oh, it's Carol Danvers. That's kind of interesting.
right. Let me see. I've got it open. Yeah, it does come out tomorrow. We've got tomorrow. We've got World of Revelation, Long Shots, Binary, and Amazing X-Men. I think so. We've got all of those coming out tomorrow.
On top of all the other books coming out,
Right.
that's what's hard too. They have so many titles coming out from this thing, where it's just like, what are you gonna get?
Yeah, exactly. So for this one, again, like you, I'm a big fan of Stephanie Phillips writing. So it's already a given. I'm gonna, pick this one up. I really like Carol Danvers as well. I like the binary character and mixing that with the Phoenix Force, and I. It's also going to be interesting to see how that ties into X books. Like they're bringing in other characters from like Avengers and you
Yeah.
know other characters in the Marvel universe. So this is not just affecting the X-Men, which I think is interesting as well. So I'm hoping it's going to be bigger and more impactful than we think it's going to be. But yeah,
I hope
this is
so. I mean, always want it to be good, right?
right. Absolutely.
Next up is Laura Kinney, Sabretooth. This is probably the one I'm most excited for, even though I'm not currently reading the Laura Kinney book. I just think it's a cool mismatch. I think the ones that are going to be the most successful from this is the individual series, honestly, because you're going to get more of a voice from these characters. So for me, that's one of the ones I'm most excited for. And I believe the person, let me see who's writing that.
It's Erica Schultz.
Yeah, so the same person has been writing Laura.
Right. Which is the only thing that gives me pause because I've dropped the past couple of
Right.
Laura Kinney series. Which I like Erica Schultz writing. I just haven't liked the direction of that character. But again, this is a totally different direction for this character because it's in the future. We don't know what side she's on, or anything like that. So, and she's taken up the name Sabretooth, which is really interesting. So I'm definitely curious about this one. And yeah, I'll probably try this one as well.
Next is Long Shots.
Yeah.
This one, I remember reading the description and being very interested, but let me see who is on this team. Oh,
Well,
because of
got
Hellcat. Yeah, that's
exactly.
why. I was like, who's on this team that I'm interested? Oh, Hellcat. But yeah, Bishop, Hellcat, Craven, Rhino, Wonder Woman, trapped in Mojo World. Mojo World, I don't care as much about, but like Craven and Hellcat, and even Rhino, those are interesting characters to put together.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love Hellcat as much as you do. So anytime Hellcat's in a book, because it's very rare that she's in a book. I am looking forward to it. I'm paying attention to it.
Hickman
But
and Dugan's writing this too, so that's kind of
yeah,
interesting. So kind of
yeah,
heavy hitters for a long shot book.
right. And like I don't love Mojo, and it seems like a very Mojo-esque kind of book. They're put on a TV show, et cetera, et cetera. But like you said, Hickman and Duggan on it. You got Hellcat in there, and suddenly I'm wanting to read this Long Shots book.
Yeah. So that's long shots. Next up is World of Revelations. This is actually just it's an anthology. It's a
Yeah,
one shot. I didn't even know it was an anthology, but they had the Fantastic Four, Young Avengers, and Apocalypse. I mean, they're people I like, so I gotta read for Fantastic Four, and I gotta read for Young Avengers. But I didn't know it was an anthology. That makes it. I knew it was a one shot, but yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I knew it was a one shot. I didn't realize it was an anthology either. Yeah, there's a lot of creators involved in there. Maybe I did know it and I just forgot. But yeah, I like a lot of these characters too. Like I don't know how deep we can get into the stories of these characters being in an anthology though. So unless it's like how many is you said it's a one shot, right? So it's not
Yeah.
even yeah, I don't know. I'm torn about this one, honestly. But you got a lot of creators. You got Al Ewing writing in this. You got I think I saw Ryan North's name on there as well.
Which makes sense because of the Fantastic Four side of
Fantastic
stuff.
Four, yeah, Steve Fox. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm already getting overwhelmed with the amount of
Right.
content we're getting.
And I don't even know if we're not even 1/3 of the way
No.
done here. Next is Iron and Frost. So if you were enjoying the Iron Man Emma stuff,
Yeah.
this seems like it's a continuation of that. I'm gonna see if Jerry Dugan's writing it because I believe Jerry Dugan was doing the original one. It's a different writer, it's Kevin Scott, who did
Yeah.
Gwenpool actually.
Yeah.
Which I liked. I liked the Gwenpool book.
Yeah, I
So
did too.
I'm interested. Look, it's Emma Frost. I gotta get an Emma book.
Yeah. I actually loved that arc where Iron Man and Emma Frost were pretending to be married and all that stuff. I really like that arc. So these two together, there's just something interesting about that pairing. And obviously, it seems like maybe something happened to Iron Man based on the cover,
Mhm.
and maybe Emma Frost is taking up that mantle. I don't
And
know
look at that
exactly.
coat. It looks so
Yeah.
comfy.
And it looks like she's in full diamond form, so we don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe she's had another mutation too because they're not showing her face. I
true.
I'm interested in this, so I'm definitely gonna pick this one up.
Me too. Rogue Storm. This is one I'm probably not going to get because I don't read Storm, and it goes back to, if you had 5 titles, I would have tried it out.
Yeah.
But because you have so many, it feels like one that I won't have room to put on my list.
Right. This is one that's not kind of really appealing to me that much either. The only thing that has me curious is the premise that basically I think Rogue has to kill Storm.
Mhm.
And that's what this is all about. So that it's like I want to know why. At the same time, like all the characters that are in this book, I don't really care. I'm not reading Storm either. So yeah, it's like if there was one I was going to skip, it would probably be this one. I agree.
Next up is Sinister Six, and I want to see who's on that team. Let's see. It's Venom, Havoc, Black Cat, Domino, Omega Red, Phantom X. Oh, I already said Venom. And that's David Marquez writing it.
Right.
I mean, Black Cat, that's the thing, and that's what I hate about these books. They have like one character that I really like, or
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I guess I'm getting this, and then you have David Marquez writing it. So I hate to say I'm getting as many as I am, because I do think it's going to be a lot to read, and I feel like a lot of these are going to be a little mid, but I'm hoping for the best. I will say a lot of these premises sound very promising, at least. Like I'll say there's definitely at least interesting pitches here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And that again, that takes me back to like Age of Apocalypse where they, shook everything up and did a very similar thing. And it was interesting to see where characters fell into this world and like what teams they were part of and all that stuff. So this gives that vibe. I really like Havoc as well, and I love Black Cat and I like David Marquez. So it's like I kind of have to get this one too. I'm not really a big fan of Mr. Sinister. So
Me
it's like,
either.
do I really want to read a book, about Mr. Sinister? But again, you throw in those other elements that we mentioned, and it's like, yeah, I kind of have to. So
And it is interesting. It also the one thing about this event, it does feel like it's buying time, because like
yeah,
this event, even if you love these stories, let's say it's the best stories of the world, are they going to actually bleed into what's coming next? Probably not.
right, yeah, exactly. Because this is probably an instance of they're going back in time to prevent this from happening, kind of
Mm.
thing, because they don't want this future to happen. So it's going to return to the status quo after. It has to.
Next up is Unbreakable X-Men. This is, let's see what team this is. Unbreakable X-Men. This one, wow, this is like, there's not even any
I
characters
think
in the
this is
description. It's Gale. It's uncanny.
yeah,
Okay,
this is
it's
Uncanny X-Men. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna get this one. If I'm being honest, I think I might skip this. I think I would just jump into Uncanny after. It
Mhm.
really would depend on the week for me on this.
Yeah, they don't give you a whole lot of. I mean, obviously, we're still at Haven House, so it is definitely
Mm.
entrenched within the Uncanny X-Men timeline here. But they don't tell you who's in it or what's going on really. Just that it says wounded, grieving, and guarding the portal to the terrifying penumbra. So it's yeah, and that's that place, that dark place that the new kids have gone down into,
Mhm.
right? In Uncanny X-Men. So I guess we're continuing with that.
Which I didn't really love, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
me either. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's a skip for me. But
that
we'll
might
see.
be.
Again, if it's like a light week, that's easier with those. But like a week like this, where it's a busy week, and then also on top of it, there's a lot of great books coming out. It's you got to be a choose your. Even though I probably will still get Binary.
Right.
Next up is Omega Kids. It's a Quentin Quire book. I'm good. I'm gonna probably skip this
Well,
one.
it's Tony Fleeks writing it though.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
saw
I
that
hate
and I'm like,
that.
oh
And
crap.
Andreas Genelot, who did the art for Runaways. Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Come on. Stop it, Marvel.
That's why they're doing it. They're smart. They're playing this very well. They're appealing to people like us at least. Um, yeah, I like Quentin. He sometimes, depending on how he's written, depending on how he's handled, he can be a fun character. He is kind of a jerk, but within the X-Men book, he hasn't really mattered all that much. Um,
No, he's been faded in the background.
yeah, but with Tony Fleeks writing it, that gives me a little bit more hope for the at least this this particular series, not necessarily for the future of the character, but Tony Fleeks is we love Tony Fleecs.
I haven't read anything that I disliked from him. So
Right.
like I've nothing. So the Thing was great. So like
Yeah.
you could make a Thing book a great series. I think you could make a Quentin Quire book fun.
Yeah, and it's also a villain book because he's like on Revelation's side. He's got these Omega kids that are going and spying on the
Mm,
X-Men and stuff like that. So it could be really interesting under his control. So
I agree. Next is Radioactive Spider-Man. Obviously, we're gonna get it because it's
of course.
Spider-Man. It's the tie-in with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Who's writing this? This is Joe Kelly.
Yeah, so literally a Spider-Man book.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a no-brainer.
Now, next up is The Last Wolverine, another Wolverine book. With this one,
Yeah.
which
But
is
this is Wendigo. This isn't even
Wendigo.
Wolverine, right?
Wow. Yeah,
This
it's
is yeah. Go ahead.
Wendigo. No, you go on.
Yeah. So I know that you didn't read this. I don't think.
No, I didn't.
Mike and I read the Arc of Wolverine with Wendigo in there. So this is a kid that got bitten by a Wendigo and transformed into a Wendigo, and Wolverine kind of took him under his wing and tried to, teach him not to kill people and all that stuff, and they kind of became friends. So that's who this character is in the future. I guess he's taken on the mantle of Wolverine because Wolverine himself has gone dark. So yeah, this is a skip for me though.
Also gonna skip that one.
Yeah,
I'm not reading the other one.
I didn't like that story at all. So yeah, this is an easy skip for me.
Next was World of Revelations, but I thought I guess there's two.
This is Book of Revelation, I think, right? Is that?
Oh,
is
maybe
it
I think
different?
Wikipedia just listed it wrong.
Okay,
So
I'm on League of Comic Geeks, and it's kind of going in the same order. So the next one on that list is Book of Revelation.
So they probably just wrote it wrong. This looks like it's in Philadelphia, which is interesting. Who's in this?
Let me see.
They have a kitty cover. That's cool.
Does it list characters? Oh, this is Revelation's book. Apparently, this is Doug Ramsey and it says the Ghost of Philadelphia, aka Catherine Pride.
Oh, stop it!
Yeah,
stop it.
So this is the kitty book.
All right, well, I'm getting Book of Revelations, I guess.
Yeah, I'll show the cover real quick. That's the cover for it.
Well, yeah, I was gonna skip it, but obviously any Kitty Pryde book I'm going to get. But
yeah,
there you go.
I didn't realize Kitty was in it either. This is written by Jed.
They're not promoting it.
Yeah, this is written by Jed McKay with art by Nito Diaz. I'm familiar with Nito and Jed, of course. So yeah, it's Kitty. So dang it.
Got to get that one. Our pull list is gonna be large for October.
This is crazy.
Next is Cloak and Dagger. I'm not getting Cloak and Dagger. I don't need Cloak and Dagger.
Justina Ireland.
Unless you're saying Kitty's in that too, I think I could stand by that.
No, I think this is just Cloak and Dagger.
Who's writing that one?
Justina Ireland. Sorry, Justina Ireland.
I don't know.
I've heard the name. I can't place what they've written though.
I'm gonna tell you. Hold on.
Okay, I'll pull up the cover.
They have written a lot. Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Are you getting Cloak and Dagger? Are you skipping?
I like the characters, but they never can seem to hold a book. So they seem like better like guest stars than lead characters. So this could be a skip for me. Plus, I'm not familiar with the creative team, so.
Yeah, same. I agree on that. Next, which I can never pronounce, Expatriate X-Men.
Expatriate, maybe. Expatriate.
I
don't know.
And this is Miss Marvel, and this is pretty much the exceptional X-Men book. So like, I'm gonna get this. Eve Ewing, who wrote that, is writing this, so I'll get it. But I will also say I don't know if it's gonna be a book that everyone's gonna be getting. I feel like this might be a skip for a lot of people, but for me and my interests, I'll be getting it.
Yeah, it's literally all those characters plus Colossus here. And Mystique, it looks like maybe. Yeah, I'll get this too. I'm reading Exceptional X-Men as well. It's a good book, so this is another easy pickup for me.
Expatriate. Thank you. Harry Potter helped us out for a pronunciation for that.
Nice. Nice. Thank
Next up is Undead Deadpool.
Undead Pool.
Undeadpool. Yeah,
Yes.
Undeadpool. Uh,
Weird.
that it has Deadpool in it, obviously. I'm gonna see if it's Cody Ziegler. It is not. It's Tim Seeley writing it.
Okay.
I will say I will most likely not get this because I usually don't get Deadpool, and I think the only thing that would have convinced me was Cody Ziegler because obviously we were reading that run.
Yeah. I don't think I'll get this one either. I looking at some of the other characters, it says Kid Man Thing and
Mm,
these other characters I've never heard of. Fearless, Magni,
no.
Fantastica. Yeah. No, that I think I can do without this one.
All right, now last title from what I could see is
Yeah.
X-Vengers, so it's the X-Men with the Avengers. This is Jason Liu, who I think wrote a lot of the book with I forget their names. I'm gonna look it
The
up because I
the
didn't read.
Korean was it the
Yeah,
Korean?
like the Asian
Yeah.
series. Yeah,
I can't think of the name of it either, but
I
I
can't
know
remember the
uh,
name, but they wrote a lot of that. I will get this if it is a small week, but I think I'm on the fence for this one.
I will say this interesting cast of characters here. You've got Moonstar, looks like Sunspot. You got Hawkeye with 6 arms for some reason.
Dr. Octopus.
Cannonball. Yeah, it's weird cast of characters there. I don't know. I might try it out. We'll see. Well, depends on the week.
It definitely depends on the week. But that's all the titles for X-Men. Obviously, we'll be covering it as the month goes on, but we thought it'd be fun to kind of break it down because when it did get released about the titles, they were releasing it so quickly and weirdly that and also we were in our hiatus for the summer. It was hard to cover it, so I thought it would be fun to like actually break it down.
Yeah, for sure. I wish Mike had been here. I'd be curious to see what picks he'll get.
Same,
I
because I feel like he's not getting as many because he said like
Yeah,
there's so many other books that
right.
he wouldn't get as many. But I am curious as well because he's also the type of guy who'll say I'm not getting many and then go to the store and get them all. So,
Yeah. Somebody real
um,
quick, just as a
mm.
side note, because I wasn't here last week.
Oh
They
yeah,
asked
yeah,
if we
you get
talked
your
about it.
opinion on it.
Yeah, I know you and I know Mike talked about it because he had
Mm.
watched it. I absolutely loved the trailer. The gameplay footage was phenomenal. The cutscenes were gorgeous. I mean, this was a Mike said it last week. It was a super violent Wolverine game. He's like killing people left and right. But just it looks like a beautiful book. It looks like it might even be open world. So I'm very excited about it actually. So that's cool.
And before we get into the comic books, we are gonna talk about my current Kickstarter, the comic book anthology for the comic shop. If you have been on YouTube, you might have seen this show. It's like an Abbott Elementary styled comedy about a black owned comic book shop, and you have really great actors on there. Cheyenne, who writes the show, is also lead on there. Then Zeno Robinson, who voiced Norman Osborn in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I know does a lot of anime stuff as well. I think voiced a few characters on My Hero Academia. We are making a comic tie into it, and it's been really exciting. We're halfway through to our goal, which is a monster goal, because we also have crazy creators on here like Cody Ziegler, who writes Miles Morales. We have Stephanie Williams, who wrote a lot for DC Comics. Joe Illich, who's
Writing
like,
a lot of stuff right now too.
yeah, in particular, I agree. Stephanie Williams is writing a ton of stuff. So if you like comics and enjoy comedy, I think you'll really like this. And even if you just like superheroes, there's a couple superhero stories in here as well that's tied into the show. But every dollar helps, guys. We want to make this comic happen. And I'll say if it doesn't fund, this comic does not happen. So let's make it happen for Cheyenne. And we're super excited about it. So go check that one out.
I
I'll also mention that I'll be at New York Comic Con this weekend in Artist Alley. It's L21 is our table number. So if you're at New York Comic Con, want to buy some great comic books, check us out over there. We love our home show and really thankful to be in Artist Alley. We know it's a hard thing to do, so we're always appreciative that they leave a spot for us for New York Comic Con. So we're really excited about that.
I will say that I have watched every episode of the comic shop to date, and
I love that.
yeah, it's really fun. I really like it, and the last episode left on a little bit of a cliffhanger, so that was fun too. So
with
Yeah,
an
definitely.
actor that maybe people know
Maybe.
that
Yeah.
maybe that if you like superhero animated stuff in
Yeah.
particular, you might really like who shows up in that episode.
Yeah.
And it was funny, we were talking to Cheyenne. She said, "Oh, I really want to get this comic funded because then in season 2, we could show the comic in the show." So I was like, "Oh, that'd be really cool." So
Yeah, that would be cool.
let's make it happen. It'd be really
Absolutely.
cool. And yeah, we're excited for it. Congrats on Artist Alley. Thank you. Yeah, we love Artist Alley at New York Comic Con. It is a whirlwind, and again, I get to go home after, so that's always nice. All these other shows that are like repop shows, we travel to a lot of the Comic Cons, so it's nice to go to a Comic Con and then like sleep in your own bed
Is that
and not
correct?
have to go out to dinner unless it's a work event. Which honestly, with these things, I think already half my stuff has been booked up with work dinners where I'm like, I just want to go home and eat. And not have to go to dinner.
Yeah.
But everyone's in town for that for the show.
Yeah. Is that correct? L21.
L21. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Thank you. So please say hi. We also have the exclusive cover there as well. So very limited. Mob Princess, which is in New York. So Staten Island in particular. So go check it out. All right, let's get into the comics for this week. There's a lot of comics this week as well. I guess unless Brent, do you want to lead? Do you want me to lead?
You can go ahead, or if you'd rather me, I will. But I'm
I
good
don't
anyway.
mind. So let's start with Venom issue 250, which I do wish Mike was here for because I actually liked this issue. And Mike's like, "Oh man, I hated Venom," and I was like, "I had a fun time with it." And again, like if you're looking for something specific, which is you're like that's a last page thing, whatever. You don't really get that much, and it's like pretty much an ad to get another book. But as someone who's just been enjoying the soap opera Venom, I thought it continued exactly what we've been getting, which I've been enjoying.
Yeah. I'm going to read part of Mike's comment in our private chat. Nothing too revealing, but I'm just going to read the first line. He said to us, "Dude, what was up with Venom this week? What a disaster." So that's Mike's general thoughts on Venom.
So we had very different opinions on that one. But how about you, Brent? Did you like it? Were you more in the middle as you usually are when me and Mike disagree?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I was only about a third of the way through the book when I saw that message come through, and then you all discussed it. And I'm like, oh crap, am I gonna hate this book? Am I gonna love it? What's gonna happen? So I did finish it, obviously. I am very much in the middle. It's kind of funny because I can understand why Mike was frustrated with it, but at the same time, I had fun with it. It still felt like the same kind of book we were reading. Obviously, you threw in the scroll stuff, which is probably the part that Mike hated.
And that was the part that I didn't like as much. But it didn't take over the issue too much.
Right.
Like it was just the right amount where it didn't grind my gears.
Yeah, and it's like you could ignore that part and still enjoy the rest of the Mary Jane stuff, and it's still read like a Venom book. So I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, it's like, it's fine. It's not the best issue of Venom I've read, but it's it wasn't bad.
The next book that I don't read, but was a huge book for this week, and everyone was very excited to return, which was Rook Exodus.
Yes. Oh my God, this book is so good. If anybody aside from Kat has not read Rook Exodus, go read this book. It's one of the best books on the stand, and it didn't miss a beat. The art is absolutely stunning. I mean, it's so beautiful. And we pick up right where we left off with Rook trying to now save the planet from these other wardens that are trying to take it over. And we meet some more interesting characters in this issue. So it's continuing on. It's been so long since we got this book that I'm so excited that it's back. And I don't want it to ever take a break again, even though I know it's going to. But yeah, it's such a good book.
So next is Absolute Evil issue 1, which I thought was really solid for an event. I like that it's been building from the free comic book day stuff we've been getting. Green Arrow dying was kind of crazy in the way it happened.
Yeah.
I thought the Lex Luthor reveal in the end was interesting, that he was on the farm and like kind of was living this Clark Kent life. So I liked it. I think my only negative was that the art could have been stronger. I think there was moments where it looked a little strange, especially for such a big book, but I liked it. These are the event books I really enjoy, is when it feels like it's necessary.
Yeah. It's interesting this week because most of my books I really liked. It was a better week. There was only like 3 or 4 that I didn't really care for.
Mm.
So it was really hard to make my top 5 this week. But Absolute Evil did not make my top 5. I'll just spoil that right here. But I did like it, and it ties into everything going on in the Absolute books, and the like you said, the Green Arrow death was surprising, and the way that they kind of showed that even since like the 30s and 40s, they've systematically taken down every superhero or potential superhero threat that has risen, and now they're coming together once again because they're facing the worst threats they've ever faced in like Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman, etc. So, yeah, it was a really solid issue. It was kind of the forming of this version of a Legion of Doom, but they called themselves the Justice League, which was
That
an
was
interesting
interesting
twist.
too.
Yeah, and they're in the Hall of Justice as well. So, yeah, nothing really bad to say about it. It just there were books I enjoyed better this week. So.
No, it was a really solid week
Yeah.
for books for sure. That was actually my number 5, so we already talked about it. What was your number 5?
My number 5 was Justice League Omega Act Special, which was the prelude to DC K.O.
That was great too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it got me excited for the event. It wasn't new information really for us. If you've been keeping up with everything that's been going on leading up to this, and they didn't really give us too much information on what exactly DCKO is. It's still very much a mystery of what they're actually going to do. All we know now is that Superman has to team up with Doomsday, which is a huge deal, right? So, yeah, it just got me pumped for it. Obviously, in the future, Darkseid has taken over basically the multiverse, and everything's bad, very bad. So they have to fix it. So, yeah, really, really solid issue. And
I like that it ties into Superman so heavily.
Yeah,
Superman has just been honestly one of my favorite superhero books.
Yeah.
In the last decade, I would say, because it's been so consistent. Because I remember like when Nightwing came out, right? We were all like, "Oh my god, Nightwing was great." But after like 12 issues, you're like, "Oh, I'm kind of getting tired of Nightwing." Superman has just been such a consistent book where it comes to art, when it comes to writing, and it's 3+ years already, and I rarely dislike an issue. And to see an event, such a big event, come out of that book is what I like about comics and what events should be. And I think this issue did a very good job at that. Like you said, there's not any huge reveals, but it shows that everything's connected. And also shows that a Superman person probably will win this thing.
Yeah.
Either Lex or Superman. Maybe we'll get the surprise of a Power Girl or Supergirl.
Supergirl, yeah.
But I actually do think Mike might be right with the Lex Luthor thing. I do think we have a little foreshadowing with that in this issue. But yeah, I liked it. The art was really good. It was this is how I like my event books.
Yeah. You're so right. Especially with mainstream books, it's very rare these days for a book to be that consistent that often. And this one just knocks that out of the park, Superman in particular. And
that big as well, because I think there's consistent books like Miss Marvel, let's say, which is a very consistent solo series book, or Runaways. But I think Superman being a flagship book and being this good and big means something and feels very different than, again, your Miss Marvel or your Runaways.
Well, I mean, look at our criticisms of the Spider-Man book. There's a perfect, contrast there. So
100%.
Yeah, no, this is a really good book. So yeah, that's why I made my top 5. But yeah.
Let's move into you have your number 5, so go for your number 5.
No, that's what it was.
Oh, right. That was your number 5. I'm sorry. Now we have All Immortal issue 1, which is, I believe, a Boom Studios book. And I will say I was a little disappointed with it because I really liked the premise, but it just got way out there. I did not like the main character a lot, and I was just like, I don't think I want to follow this guy.
Right? I mean, they established very early on that he's maybe not the most loyal guy. We'll put it like that. Yeah, and it keeps getting reinforced throughout the issue. So, and then obviously there's the Harry Potter analog here.
Yeah, 100%
heavily into that. So it's like, okay, I really like the premise too. And when I got into reading it, it's like, this is just not as good as I'd hoped it was gonna be. So I
like the art a lot. That was one thing I enjoyed the art style. It's just the writing wasn't there for me.
Yeah. So this is probably a drop for me. So yeah, unfortunately.
So we were talking about Amazing Spider-Man, and we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 13, which I will say, is this my favorite series? No, especially Cosmic Spider-Man is not my favorite, but I think it's an improvement from what we've been
Yeah.
getting. It feels different, and I like that we get to see Spider-Man and his idea of responsibility seep into a different setting. So I like that. Again, I don't think it'll be my favorite book, but I this is a step in the right direction. I didn't hate this by any means. I thought it was at least middle ground.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and it's definitely something different. I like the cast of characters, at least these with, and
Mhm.
Rocket and him play off each other pretty well, which is a little surprising. So I like that. It does make me wonder though, like one of your suggested titles for this week, if we hadn't done the title we did, was should the Amazing Spider-Man be two separate titles? And I think this issue reinforces that opinion quite heavily.
Because it feels so
Um,
different. It's just
yeah,
like it's like almost whiplash for sure.
yeah,
Because you have Norman in this other book, and also I think they're two different crowds. Because for me
yeah,
personally, I like the Norman stuff more. That's just like the type of Spider-Man stories I like. And obviously, I would pick up the other one because it's Peter, but like
yeah.
I think that they just think they're gonna lose people, which is not
I
wrong.
No, I agree with you. I wish this was like Spectacular Spider-Man or something.
Mhm.
Just yeah, why not split them for, even if it's just for a short while and then bringing them back together or something. I don't know. It would make more sense. Obviously, they needed the time for the creative teams to catch up or whatever. But I just wish they had, done it a little bit differently because it is kind of jarring to go from, especially because it's such vastly different art styles too. So you're literally jumping from story to story each issue, and it's a little jarring. So, but no,
Yeah.
this was a pretty solid issue. I liked it for what it was.
Next up is Batman issue 2, which I loved. I
Yeah,
This is like exactly what I want from Batman. I really enjoyed Tim and Bruce's relationship and the whole driving thing, and
yeah,
where it ended up with how they dealt with the current situation of like him not wanting to replace Batman pretty much. Like, oh, if I drive the Batmobile, that means you're hurt.
yeah,
Artwork is phenomenal. Like this is quickly becoming one of my favorite Batman runs. It is so good. Again, what I want to
yeah.
see from Batman.
The way Tim's like anxiety and stuff was handled in this was just like flawless. It was so good. It was so well written. I love this issue. I like this issue better than issue one personally. As you all know, I was kind of not on the fence with issue one, but it was like, okay, it was a good book, but it didn't blow me away or anything. But this issue like changed my opinion completely. And it's like, oh, this is good. This is what I want. And now I see where they were going with issue one. So it's like now I'm in there. I'm up with everybody else as far as this being, the right direction for this book. And the art was really good too. And just like you said, the relationship between Tim and Bruce, and even uh, the little snippets of Damien we got here as well. Just everything was so good in this issue. So yeah,
All right. So let's
loving
get
that.
into
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. Any other thoughts or you want
No,
me?
no, no. That was it. Sorry.
Number 4. What was your number 4?
My number four was Exquisite Corpses, issue number 5.
Okay.
This has just been a solid book through and through. And this issue, we got to see two of the killers um, kind of square off against each other unintentionally. So like one of them was the guy, I think his name was Pretty Boy. He was flirting with the other girl, and she was like she didn't like to be touched, and it got to a point where he kissed her, and that didn't end so well for him. Ended very violently for him. So this just continues to be a kind of a sleeper hit book. If you're not checking this out, you might want to, especially if you like a lot of violence in your books. This is definitely a violent book, and we got to learn a little bit more about some of the side characters that are trying to figure out what's going on in the town. We got more glimpses at some of the killers too, and just yeah, I don't know. It's a hard book to describe, but it's just a super violent, super kind of weird book. So yeah,
My number 4 was what we already talked about, which is just the Justice League Omega Act special issue 1. So it was my number 4.
cool.
We're gonna move on to X-Men Age of Revelations Overture. We were kind of talking about it a little bit
Yeah,
before, but it was fine. It's forgettable.
yeah,
If you're reading X-Men, you love X-Men, maybe you'll enjoy it, but I'm not currently reading that X-Men title, so it's
yeah.
just fine.
I didn't love the art style. I will say that it was a little clunky for my taste. Um, But I thought the story was fine. Like I kind of said earlier, the premise of it, the different universe or different future reality for this world and stuff that they set up. I thought they set it up well, but like you said, it wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't, mind blowing or anything like that. It was just kind of okay, cool. Let's move on.
Yeah, 100% agree. All right, let's get into our number threes now. So my number three was Venom. So me and
Okay.
Mike would have disagreed. I just had a
Yeah.
very good time with this one. But what was yours, Brant?
Mine was actually Birds of Prey, issue 26.
Oh, that's interesting. We have different opinions on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually really like this issue because they were going around town playing this like almost like a scavenger hunt game, but it was like with riddles and stuff like that. And I just had fun with it. I
That's
thought it was
very
a lot
up
of
your
fun.
alley too. That's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you had, your typical banner with Canary and Barda and Batgirl and stuff. So I just had a lot of fun with it. It was something that I could get into. I could watch a whole series of that or read a whole series of that.
I just feel like knowing that it's going to be ending in a few issues, I just like wanted something a little bigger. And I think that was what was very unsatisfying. If this was just a random arc, I'm like, random arc, great. But because we're getting to the end, I'm just like, oh, I just want something a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I got that.
All right, let's get into.
Oh, what was yours?
Oh,
Oh, you
mine
said
was,
yours first.
yeah, mine was Venom. So
Venom,
we're
yeah.
good.
Sorry.
Next up is Kill All Immortals 2, issue 1. I dropped that, I think, halfway through the first mini.
Okay.
But you picked up the second volume.
Yeah, I finished the first one, even though like the second half of it was, very repetitive and everything, but I was very curious what they were going to do with the second volume. And I thought the first issue was pretty solid. It was basically the descendants of Genghis Khan, led by Genghis Khan, have decided to attack their family because they're no longer immortal. So they're trying to take control and everything. So now they're out to kill them and they're trying to fight back. And so that's what this first issue was. And it didn't feel it felt similar to the last volume, but different in the same vein. So and them fighting from underneath without their immortality to fall back on is more exciting, I think, because they have more to lose. So
And it's different. So it's different characters completely.
Well, it was the same characters from the first issue. Their family is now being hunted by Genghis Khan's family.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's what it is. But they're no longer immortal because they killed the family tree or whatever thing. So they no longer have their immortality.
So they're truly being hunted.
Yeah. So I thought it was a pretty solid issue.
Next up is Absolute Superman, issue 12, which I thought was a step in the right direction. I haven't been loving the last couple of issues, but I liked this a bit more just because you had more of the character interactions and you get to see Lois and Jimmy and Superman together.
Yeah.
I like that this is an Absolute Superman book because like before it's like here's Brainiac and all this, and it just felt like it was trying to develop the bigger world and not just the characters.
Yeah, and we're literally back in Smallville here. We meet Lana Lang, this version of Lana
Lana's
Lang.
great.
Yeah, she was great. And like you said, Jimmy and Lois, their classic banter started to form here. So you got a little bit of their interaction. I love to see that. You got to kind of dig a little deeper into Kal-El as he kind of through his AI. I can't think of what the name of the AI is. But yeah, that whole dynamic and everything he went through, and you got a glimpse of Ma Kent in this as well. And now we're heading into the Battle of Kansas, which is going to be exciting too. So yeah, really good issue.
So now we're up to our number twos, I believe, and my number two, and this was a close one, and I really liked both issues, but it was Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League. And I mean, you had Sideways show up in
this. That was fun. Yeah. Was not expecting that.
No, I never expected to see Sideways ever again.
Yeah.
But I just like the way they're crafting this team. And the ending with Black Adam, I thought was really cool. The art is really good. It feels like an Ocean's 11.
Yeah, it totally does.
It's phenomenal. If you like using the DC universe in a new, unique way, I feel like this book does that very well.
Yeah, this is totally a classic heist story. I love the way it was constructed, the way they went over the schematics and the plans, and it like you said, it felt very Ocean's 11. And you also had little character moments like Clarion trying to flirt
Mhm.
with the what's her name, Featherweight, and stuff like that. So and Leon, getting involved in the plot and everything. It was just a fun issue. Yeah, I really like this book.
So what was your number two?
My number two was actually Batman. So
I have a feeling we're flip flop, but we'll see.
yeah,
But we do have Gotham Academy and talk about. I did not pick this up because I wasn't so into the first one, so I was like,
okay.
all right. I mean, this is gonna be a lot of the same, right?
Yeah, it definitely was very much the same. I love Gotham Academy. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite books of all time. I absolutely love that book. And this was going back to the beginning when Olive first got to the school. So we got to see her issues with Batman and her issues with her mother and all that stuff. We got to meet Map's older brother for the first time as he meets Olive and all that stuff. So if you like Gotham Academy, you'll really like this. If you didn't, it's an easy skip. But I love Gotham Academy, so I definitely like this. It didn't make my top five, but I did really like it.
I'm glad that it's the same creative team too. I think
Yeah.
that's very helpful. That obviously it's been this many years later, but I'm sure also that book sells very well in trade. I feel
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
it
Yeah.
probably is a good, which is probably why they're bringing it back. I don't think
Yeah.
it's for the floppies. I think it's probably because
Right.
they're like, here's a second volume of this thing. That way
Exactly.
they could sell it in bookstores. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool for fans. I like when you get, more books that it doesn't have to be a mainstream book, right? It doesn't have to be a Rook
Yeah.
Exodus. It could just be like these people like this story. And
Yeah.
it's like sometimes you can make something that is just for a smaller group of people, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
It's like this is their Runaways or New Avengers or what I mean, Young Avengers or whatever. It's something different for a different crowd. Strange Academy, different things like that. Yeah.
No. All right. Let's go into our number ones. What was your number one?
Mine was Rook Exodus.
Which one was it?
Rook Exodus.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? No, Cheshire didn't even make it.
No, it's just under my top five.
Oh,
But
wow.
I,
Okay,
I
Rook
really
Exodus
loved
is
it. Yeah,
good.
like I said, I loved like 15 of my books. Like I really liked a lot of my books this year.
That's that is good. I'm glad you liked Rook. Mine was Batman issue 2 because just
Gotcha.
I'm loving this run. This is exactly what I want from Batman. Both issues kind of blew me away. And it's funny because issue 1 you would think it's maybe it's like, oh, it's just because it's issue 1 they had longer to write it, right? But then
Yeah.
issue 2 doing the same exact thing, you're like, okay, this is gonna be something special now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And issue 2, like I said, changed my mind completely. So I loved it. And Rook Exodus, like I said, it's one of the best books on the stand for me personally. So yeah.
Everyone was excited about it at the comic book
Yeah.
store. I feel bad that it's not for me, but I'm also
Yeah.
I think it's very much for the Wednesday Warrior, and we'll be honest,
Mhm.
Wednesday Warriors tend to be middle-aged men. So, and I think it is geared to them, which is okay. That is perfectly fine. That there's a book geared to middle-aged men. That is, I think, what the audience is for that book.
Yeah, I will say also though, I do follow some younger TikTok comic reviewers,
Mhm.
a good handful of them, and they all like a lot of the books that we like, and Rook Exodus is one
I
of
like
them.
that. That's
So
really
yeah, it's
cool.
really cool. Yeah,
Especially because Jeff Johns is such an older a
yeah,
creator from a time
right,
where maybe they weren't reading comics. So
exactly.
I
Yeah,
think that is cool that they're just like liking Rogue Exodus, not maybe because of the name, but because of it's a book that's doing well. Same
yeah,
thing for Absolute Batman. That seems to
hmm
be getting a lot of traction on
yeah,
TikTok. Like literally all my friends that do not read comics, but I obviously know that I read comics. They're like, "Have you like what's up with this Absolute Batman? Like, what's going on?" And there's like a meme about it. So I was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Oh, it's Absolute Batman." And then another friend's like, "Well, what's this Absolute Batman about?" And I'm like, honestly, and I was saying this, I think someone in the comic book store, like, I really like Absolute Batman for the fans of TikTok because they're probably reading it in trade. And I do
mm,
think it's a great book, but B, I think it's honestly probably an even better book if you're reading it in trade. Cause like I think
yeah,
having to wait every month is not it's like kind of a saga in that situation where saga,
yeah,
yeah, it's great to read every month because you don't want to wait. But if you read it all together, it's a cleaner read.
yeah. There are some books that are just better that way, and I agree with you. I think Absolute Batman probably is one of those. So yeah, but it's cool that there's this whole other audience of comic fans that maybe we don't know about and stuff. Speaking of TikTok, I just got back onto TikTok after months absence this today, so I put up 2 reviews today. So if anybody wants to check it out, at Only Good Comics.
And on TikTok, not to change subject, but I guess change subject just back to the Rook Exodus thing. Are they reading the floppies or are they reading it through
They're
trade?
they're Wednesday warriors, believe it or not.
That is
Like
really cool.
there are some I follow that are trade readers, but the handful that I'm talking about, they're getting books every week, and yeah, so it's pretty
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah,
And there's like some younger people in my comic book store, but like for the most part, it's always the same faces. So it's cool, like outside of my bubble, that's
yeah,
happening. So, and then
exactly.
someone just mentioned I'm 23 and got into comics this year. Read all Absolute and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and some Ultimate stuff.
Nice.
Go there every Wednesday. That's
That's
really,
really
I mean,
cool.
that's how this survives. So I
Yeah,
want to see more of that. I just like assume it's like, oh yeah, that people are reading comics differently because they're reading it through. It's
yeah,
also through sales. You just see like, oh, these book sales are doing really well. That must be how they're reading it. But it's cool to like get a different perspective on that too.
yeah, absolutely. Happy to see it. Love it.
All right. Well, I think we're on to our most anticipated, which again, there's a lot of books coming out tomorrow. So
Yeah. All right, so I'll just really quickly read Mike's off, and then we'll
yeah,
talk about all the books. So Mike's list is Absolute Batman number 13, which we were just talking about.
which is the Catwoman issue too. So a lot of people are anticipating it.
Yeah, for sure.
That was close to my list. It just again, there's a lot coming out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I could have picked any of the more most of the books that both of you
Mm.
picked too. So DC K.O. is his number 2, which obviously, and Transformers number 25 because it's the first issue of Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora taking over. So definitely looking forward to that. So and 2 of those are on my list as well. So we'll definitely talk about them. But let's start with Supergirl number 6, which is Cass number.
I wanted to put something different because obviously we always tend to pick the same
Yeah,
stuff. So I've been really enjoying Supergirl. It's a book that has such a Silver Age feel to it. It's fun and it's a light read in between your Transformers and your Absolute Batmans and your DC K.O.s. It's kind of nice to get that palate cleanser. I like to read a lighter book to get into the pile too. Like I don't go straight into DC K.O. for the most part. Like I'll usually read I'm trying to think of something lighter that came out this week. Let me actually see what came out this week that was a little lighter. Honestly, I like a Batgirl or a Birds of Prey. That from this list, like Batgirl or
yeah,
Birds of Prey are usually my first reads because they're
gotcha.
just easier reads to like kind of get into your pile. Like, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
for
good way
sure.
to do it.
I do that sometimes too. Birds of Prey is definitely a good one to do that with. I think this week I actually went straight into Justice League and X-Men just to get those big books for my show on Friday. So
Well, and also I'm sure just like sometimes you have to read those first because there's so much information that you're
true.
like, oh, this is the 10th book I'm reading. You might not
Right.
absorb it as well. That's why the way I mix it usually is like, yeah, I'll do that light book, but then after I'll do like you said, an Absolute Evil or something
Yeah.
like that. And then my last book tends to be the ones that I personally am like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like Absolute Green Lantern is probably a good example of that, which didn't make my top because it was a different type of issue this week. But that's a good example of something I'll put last, where it's like not an info dump book, but it's a book I feel really passionate about. Or Exceptional X-Men's always the last book I read. Like it's just like I kind of want to get to that. And
Yeah.
obviously, unless there's something like huge where I'm like, I kind of want to read it before it gets spoiled or something.
Right.
I
Yeah.
tend to like stagger because yeah, you don't want to like
Yeah.
have all the books you're excited for in the beginning.
Right. I when I'm on time with my books, I like to keep 1 or 2 of my favorite books for last. But when it like on days like this where I'm rushing to read stuff before the show, I'll save like just a handful of like, okay, these I'll read if I have time kind of books. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So let's talk about Amazing X-Men issue 1, which we talked about earlier in the show. This is going to be the book that like really kind of sets the tone for what this is going to be, I think. So that's why it's on my list. It's not that I'm excited about it. I'm just, I'm very curious about it. So I'm
As
excited.
we always say, and I think a lot of people get confused with what the most anticipated
Yeah.
list is. They're like, this is the one you're most excited for, right? And it's like, no, this is the one I'm anticipating. It's the one where I'm like, I kind of want to know what that's about.
Yeah.
So,
It can be both things though.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it just depends on the book. But in this one, it was just like I got to know what this is all about. You know what I mean? So All right. Let's talk about Everything Dead and Dying issue number 2. I still haven't read issue 1. I'll have to read them back to back because I know
Read
y'all said
it.
I
It
should
was
read it. Yeah.
phenomenal. If you like zombie stories,
Yeah.
this is the one. And I hope issue
Okay.
2 carries what issue 1 had. But I'm really excited because issue 1, like, it was one of those special books for me. It was a very like Kill Your Darlings. It's just like, if this follows through, this could be a phenomenal book. So
Wow.
very excited for issue 2.
Okay.
Especially if you're a horror fan. That's the one thing, Brant.
Yeah.
That's the one
But
thing
I
you
love
might
Walking Dead.
you do.
So,
I'll say if you
yeah.
it has a big Walking Dead vibe. So that's one thing I think will be positive for you. But I know
Okay.
we have different opinions on horror. So I don't know. We'll
That's
see.
true. But both you and Mike, you both said I should read this. So
Yeah.
usually when y'all tell me I should read something, you're not wrong. So yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'll try to read both issues before next week. All right, so mine's Transformers number 25. Obviously, I'm also excited about the new creative team, and I want to see if they can keep the same tone and vibe that Daniel Warren Johnson, established. Because I know it's Robert Kirkman, and it's crazy to say he's got big shoes to fill, but I
Right.
love Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers, and it's just it's going to be a different feeling because they're very different writers. Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see what he does with it. So, and then finally, we both have the same number 1, which is DC K.O. Because yeah, of course.
I want to see who wins. Like, we've been
Yeah,
building to this moment. I want to see if the hype is real. Honestly, like, I
yeah,
want to see if it's as good as we've been building it up to be, which I think it will be. But you never know.
yeah.
I Yeah, I'm just really stoked, and I'm
So
glad it's again coming out right before New York Comic Con, so they can talk about other
yeah,
stuff when New York Comic Con comes out.
right.
With their panel. So I'm just literally, it's the reason why I'm doing my reviews tomorrow, is because I want to talk
Yeah,
about DCKO.
exactly. Yeah. So I pointed you guys to the DC's website. I don't know if you knew about it previously, but they have their bracket challenge, and they're actually awarding prizes and all that stuff for it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so, Mike actually did a video, I think it was today or yesterday, and he actually entered it and, like, shared how his picks changed or stayed the same and stuff like that. So, if you haven't seen that, go to dc.com and check it out. They have their bracket on there, and you can fill it out and possibly win some prizes. So, I did it. I did change a few things from when we did it on the show, try to like actually predict what was going to happen instead of what I wanted to happen and that kind
Mhm.
of thing. So it'll be interesting. So
I think it's cool how much they're putting into it.
yeah,
Like, I like the excitement. Like,
yeah,
because if the creator's excited, you get excited,
right,
And I think that's what's been taken away from modern comics, for a while, because obviously Twitter and Blue Sky and all that works differently than it used to. So you don't get to see the creators talk as much about the books. Comic book journalism is really different. We don't really get to hear from the creators as much unless you're
yeah,
reading a Substack or something. You don't get to hear the excitement. And I
right,
think honestly now it's on publisher shoulders to get us to hear about the excitement about creators. Because again, if Scott Snyder is excited, I'm going to be excited.
yeah,
So I think that's really important to sell these books, because I think that is the biggest difference between DCKO or Age of Revelations. I haven't heard anyone talk about Age of Revelations.
right,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know anything about it, but I know DCKO has been building up, and I
oh
know
yeah,
that people are like, you're gonna be in for a ride.
yeah, absolutely, and I agree, and I love that. Like even little things like in the comics now, they'll have like a letter from the writer, or they'll interview one of the creators on the book and stuff like that. Just little things like that even help kind of pull us into their world and their viewpoint on it. Yeah.
I can't ever remember like how many times a book had like a letter from the editor, like a letter to editor, or like a letter from the writer that
Yeah.
explained the issue in a way that I never would have been able to read on my own. Like, because they talk about their personal relationship with the
Right.
story, and it makes it a better story when you
Yeah.
hear that background.
Yeah. Like in oh, what is the name of that book? The skateboarding book. What was it?
Oh yeah, grommets. Like, that's a
Grommets.
perfect
Grommets.
example. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're both Rick and Brian
Mm,
would talk about their childhood and how it kind of got meshed together into the story and stuff like that. So yeah. So
I 100
yeah,
like, I want more of that because it's cool.
absolutely. Yeah. But that's it. That's all our anticipated. And
That is it. So we're gonna wrap the show. A little bit of a shorter show because we got New York Comic Con coming. So
yeah, zero news, and yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have Mike, so
exactly.
only
Yeah,
two opinions. Yeah,
only two opinions, one less person, but we wanted to do a show for you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And this was Comic Book Weekly. Go check out Brand's channel, Only Good Comics. Go check out my channel, Comic Uno. Please check out the review tomorrow. So I'm going to be working really hard to get it to you guys, and it's going to be really stressful tomorrow. So it'd be really nice if you guys check it out for the work to be worth it. And yeah, if you're at New York Comic Con, go check out Artist Alley L21. We have our exclusive cover there. Please go check out the comic shop anthology. We really want to get that one funded. And if you like comics, I promise you, you'll like this book. It is a really fun series with so many great creators that you probably already read. So yeah, go check it out. And this was Comic Book Weekly. We'll see you guys next week.
bye.
Bye.